All right, how are you guys? This is Nick with Market Makers Method. I'm going to be breaking down exactly how do we use the MarketMakersMethod.com dashboard as I have it right here on the left-hand side. And just to kind of give you, what it basically does is it simply finds the proper peak formations of the currency pair, and the accuracy that it has is quite scary based off of proprietary calculations and variables that me and my developers have come up with. It perfectly complements exactly what you learn in our Market Makers Method masterclass, and alongside with trading our signature pattern, you can really get your win rate towards that 95% win ratio. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So how do we use it? Well, here we have pound USD, and on the pound USD, here's the 1 hour chart. Now, the number right here, this is 7. Basically, how do we understand this number here? Essentially, the last peak formation was 7 days ago. So we know that this is going to be a peak formation low. So we simply start counting, and let's start counting, and I'll show you how to count. So this is the current day right here. So we count this as number 1. Then we get into number 2, right? And we see this by the line separators. 1. So sorry, my bad. I messed up there quickly. So we count the current day as 0. So we have 0. Then we have 1, 2, and we count the weekend as 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So with that being said, this right here is our peak formation low 7 days ago, as it says it right here. So as you can see, I circle 7. Now, from the peak formation low, we're at 2.9 ADR. So you'll see later on, I'll discuss that once it goes above 3 ADR from the proper peak, so the reason why Euro AUD is not highlighted in red is because it's actually coming from the peak formation high instead, not the peak formation low. So we'll get into that here shortly. Now, 2.93. So the ADR is 128, as you can see in the top left corner here. So let's measure 128. Here we have another one, 128. And another one here. And as you can see, matching with this, we have now, so 2.93 was about right here at this pace. And now we just went above it right now within the last 2 hours. So this dashboard will shortly refresh, and it shall start showing this in red, looking for obviously a reversal in cycles. So let's take a look here at, say, the pound US dollar. And let's remove everything here. So here is the proper peak formation, which is already boxed in yellow. Now, if we take a look at pound US dollar, we see that the number here, is 2. So how do we start counting? Well, current day, 0, 1, 2. This is the peak formation low. From the peak formation low, 2.9 2.24. So right now we're sitting at 2.24 ADR from this level. So that's about that'd be about 150 pips. So let's take a look here. About 150 pips. And just now in the recent few hours, just like the pound AUD, we have extended all the way. So shortly we shall see this in red once the indicator refreshes and calculates the movements to the upside. So let's take a look at Australian dollar, US dollar now. And so here is our peak formation high. And you can see just how scary the accuracy is. Manually, without this dashboard, it would be almost impossible to find peaks and pinpoint them because of the proprietary calculations that we use and the variable in which it actually finds the peak formation is very unique. So let's start counting here. Australian dollar, US dollar has a number of 5, as you can see in the dashboard here. So I'll circle it here. It is 5. And the refresh rate here is every minute. So we start counting 0, 1, 2, 3 for the weekend, 4, and 5. So right here is the peak formation low, as it states from the 5th one here. Now what we do is we're at 2.31 ADR from here. So 2.31 ADR. So once this pair would continue to drop a little bit more, and once this would reach 3, then it would be highlighted in red because it's coming from the actual peak formation. Now, if we take a look at Euro AUD, I'll show you why this isn't highlighted in red. So essentially, we are still bearish. And as you can see, we trade a line with the peak formation that it currently calculates until it goes in red and it resets the number back to 1, and then it's a new cycle. So Euro AUD, let's check this out. So Euro AUD. So Euro AUD here, it says it's 12. So let's go ahead and start counting. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So you can see how beautiful the accuracy here is. It's almost unrealistic. And this really is so exciting. So nothing like this even exists on the market. Nothing comes close to this. 12 from the peak formation low, we're at 4.33, right? Now remember, it's not painted in red because it's not 3+ ADR from the current peak, which is a peak formation high. And this is from a peak formation low right here, which it doesn't matter how far this goes up. Even if it goes to a 5 ADR, it doesn't matter because that's not the right peak formation that we look for. Now, if this was from the peak formation high and it was 4.31, then this number would be highlighted in red because it extended 3x ADR from the proper current peak that it's currently calculating from, if this all makes sense. Now let's take a look here at USD Japanese yen. It says 1. So we have a fresh peak formation. Now, let's check out USD Japanese yen. And we can check out a fresh peak formation, which is right here. So, very simple. How do we do this? Current day is 0. Next day is 1. Right here, and we get the top, the highest price point of this day. And here is our peak formation low. Now from the peak formation, or this is our, sorry, peak formation high. My bad there. Draw. Peak formation high. Now let's take a look at UJ. So we had that 1 right here. Now from the peak formation high, if this was moving all the way down and we reach our 3x ADR, then it would be highlighted in red. But since it's 3.89 ADR from the peak formation low, right? From the peak formation low, which is still being calculated from here, the pair is not in red because it's not the proper peak formation. Therefore, this number does not matter if this is at 3.89 or even at 6. And that's why it's not highlighted in red, because it's not from the current peak formation, which now, of course, is a peak formation high. So this one would have to be 3 plus ADR, and then it would be highlighted in red. And I can make an additional video to show you what it looks like when it's in red. So I hope this is very clear in terms of how to use this indicator. And of course, once this, say, moves all the way down, and then it's 3, even 4x ADR from the peak formation high, it would be in red here, and then we simply wait for the level 3 reversal, and automatically the calculator will notice it only if it's a proper shift in cycles, and it'll only catch it if it's a real peak formation that's locked in. And then it's gonna say from, let's say UJ, after 6 days, it makes this reversal. It would go from 6 back to 1, and then we look for that up cycle. So that is how to essentially read the Market Makers Method dashboard. And I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you. All right, guys, welcome. It's Nick with Market Makers Method here. Part 2 to the Market Makers Method dashboard series. So I said I was going to make a part 2 to this video just so you guys can see when the dashboard actually surpasses in 3x ADR from the proper peak that it's been counting from. And we exactly have this. So for example, on pound CAD from, let's go here. So as you can see clearly, 2 days ago on pound CAD, so let me annotate this for you. So pound CAD, 2 days ago, which means we count this right here. Current day, 0, 1. My bad here. So do 0, 1, and 2. So 2 days ago, the peak is right here. And from that proper peak, we have now reached 3x ADR, as you can see right here, 3.17, and now it's basically highlighted in red. So now this is actually the proper reading that we look for, and now we're essentially looking for a bearish cycle to begin. So this may take a few days to develop, but all the criteria is there as well. But what we do recommend to trade is first you wait for the peak formation to, of course, be established already. And then of course, once we, if you've gone through our masterclass, you understand when the peak formation has actually been established. And of course, with the dashboard, it does it for you automatically. So with the masterclass, you have that knowledge, you have the skills to identify it without the dashboard, but the dashboard will do it for you automatically and essentially make your trading a lot easier and more accurate. So now let's come here and let's take a look here. 91 is the ADR. So we're going to come here from the bottom and measure it just so you guys can see it. So we have 91. And we're going to simply come here and measure. And you can see as we have surpassed the ADR right here, as this is 3x ADR, and that is exactly why we are at 3.16. So once again, very accurate. The accuracy of this brand new MMM dashboard is just it's crazy. It's such a game changer to trading alongside with our masterclass and trading our one and only single pattern. So same thing happened actually on the pound AUD. So it surpassed the 3x ADR from the proper peak, which the proper peak actually was right here as we calculated in the first video, and we went up all the way to that 3x ADR level, and that is why it was just highlighted in red, and now it's coming back a little slowly. So that's kind of breaking down how the dashboard works, how to trade the dashboard, and all the different components of it, alongside with the masterclass pattern that you would learn taking our masterclass. Okay, so this is Nick with Market Makers Method. And this was the last series of the dashboard. If you have any other questions, feel free to contact me on Telegram at MMMNick, and I'll answer any questions that you have regarding the dashboard. And of course, you'll be notified with any updates, as we will be updating the dashboard in the future to continue to improve and add features that would help us with our trading. All right, bye. All right, hey guys, it's Nick with Market Makers Method, giving you guys part 3 of using the MMM dashboard. So we're going to be taking a look a little bit more in depth into a few actual trades that we took this week and trades that we're about to take based off of using the dashboard. So we'll quickly go ahead and take a look at the pound Swiss franc. So the pound Swiss franc was quite a good trade for us. So let's come right here into the 1 hour chart, and I'll basically show you exactly what was happening here. So if you guys saw some screenshots that I posted on the Instagram page today, you saw that we took this trade based off of the dashboard itself. So let's take a look at the dashboard right now. So for pound Swiss franc, you can see there's a 3, right? So the last peak formation was 3 days ago. So how do we, how do we count this? Well, so this is basically, come right here. Okay, perfect. So we're going to mark this off, and we're going to start counting. So right here is the current day so far. Okay, so for my broker, in 5 minutes starts the next day. As you can see, the period separator is there. So we start counting the current day that we're on, 0. So that's 0, 1, 2. You count the weekend as a day, 2, and 3. So right here is 3. So the last peak formation high was right here. Now, based off of this knowledge, we know that the last peak is here. So all we need to know is that we must be trading away from the peak, right? And now also prior to us, prior to being at this price point on this day, and being right here on this day. So being here, on this day and being here on this day here, the stock board actually was saying from the peak formation low, right? This metric right here was actually lit up in red, right? So it only lights up in red if it's from the proper peak formation. Now we could get, like I mentioned previously, we could get a pair to actually exceed 3x ADR, and it will not light up in red because it's 3x ADR from not the correct peak, if that makes sense. So in this case, the peak was established here, I believe, from 2 weeks ago. And from here to here, it went 3x ADR from the proper peak formation low. So that is why it would be lit up in red on these days. And then slowly, once the shift happens and the next day starts, it would reset the number from, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if it was at 5. And then that next day, if it's confirmed, it would reset from 5 to 1, right? And we can possibly see this happening within the next few minutes. So now let me clear everything. This is the peak formation high. We trade away from the peak and we took short entries here and here because we had the pattern that I teach in my masterclass to enter, and we scaled in over 100 pips. And now we have a pullback. So now we're going to take a look. So that's basically pound Swiss franc, knowing that. So we're looking at right here, this number 3. That's the last peak formation. We trade away from the peak. And now let's take a look at pound Japanese yen, which is a pair, and USD Japanese yen, which is a pair that I will be interested in actually taking a long position in tomorrow London session. So right here is the last peak formation high. This is the last proper peak, right? So this is the only metric that we care about. And we were taking short positions all the way from here, 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 and we made hundreds of pips on this pair because we had the peak formation locked in, right? Euro Japanese yen, 6. 0. So 0, 1, 2, the weekend, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is the peak formation high right here. That's the last proper peak, as you can see, circled right here. And now it hit 6 p.m., which is my broker's time for the next official day to start. And as you can see, it just changed in front of your eyes to 7. So for now, the dashboard has not been set to 1 yet, but we are at a 4.25 ADR from the last peak. So from this peak, we have already extended all the way 4.25 ADR. So we are expecting, we are expecting price to go to the upside, as we can see some level 3 behavior here as well as some level counts. But I'm just getting into the technicals of the dashboard. And the best is when we actually get from 7 and then it resets the number to 1. That means that the peak formation is locked in. And that means that we immediately know that this peak formation right here is locked in, and that we could kindly take the pattern to the upside and expect the cycle to now shift from a bearish cycle to a bullish cycle. So we'll see how price reacts today, and then starting tomorrow, if we do get a transition from 7 to a 1, then of course that would mean that the indicator, the dashboard, has found a brand new peak formation. But for now, it's still right here. So we're still in the level 3 territory, and we still have nothing yet confirmed. Now the same thing for USD Japanese yen. Let's clear everything. And USD Japanese yen in front of our eyes, if you noticed, you can rewind, has also gone from 6 to 7. And we have just a little bit of a quick level count here, which I don't emphasize too much. We're trying to get into the indicator. So indicator, of course, 7. So we do the count, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's the peak formation. Here's the last peak formation. And all we needed to do is just take the pattern. Away from the peak. Entry short there. Entry short there. Beautiful, away from the peak. Ride the cycle. Trust the indicator, trust the dashboard to identify the proper peak formation of the pair. So now that since this is 7, we are at 4.2. So that means from this peak formation high, the cycle has ran all the way down to a 4.2 ADR, which means that we are expecting this to turn into a bullish cycle shortly. So what we're expecting is today, see how price behaves. We might retest the low one more time. And then the next day, if we see price go from 7, this number go from 7, right here, I'll circle it for you. This number go from 7 to 1. That means that the dashboard has found a brand new peak formation, and it's going to be right here, PFL, peak formation low. But for now, nothing yet is confirmed because we went into the new day going from 6 to 7, meaning that this right here still stands as the current peak formation. So I hope all this makes sense, and I await to hear your success with implementing MMM dashboard. All right, thanks guys.